I'm going to go ahead and ask the question because you know I'm going to say what needs to be said, point out what needs to be pointed out, and address the mess. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Sistas video. And in this one, I want to answer the question, will Gary die this season? If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your bell notifications because I drop new Sistas videos every single day and you're not going to want to miss any of this hot tea, this commentary, and these predictions, boo. All right. If you're not new, you know how we do. Welcome back. And feel free at any given point in the video to drop down in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Okay. Now, there has yet to be a sign of this. There has yet to be an Easter egg drop. However, the writer in me, the filmmaker in me, the storyteller in me says that something is on the horizon for Gary Borders. We have been tormented by him for far too long. He has been on the series since the very beginning, since season 1, episode 1, being a complete and utter menace. And in season 7, we have watched him take his menacing to new heights that we didn't even know were fathomable. We have watched him play into a psychosis that he seemingly goes into. He is very much so given psychopath at various moments. On top of that, we've added in the nasty element as it pertains to some of his sexual acts with various characters. And it seems to me, story-wise, the writers have really taken any type of parameters or constraints off of this character, and they have allowed him to go full force, carte blanche, whatever he wants to do in his mind of crazy, he's able to do. And I feel like this typically happens in storytelling when a character is about to make its exit or meet its demise. At some point, regardless of the story, regardless of the storytellers, the characters have to actually suffer consequences for their actions. For Gary, this reaping what he sows is 7 seasons in the making, but it is in the making. And going back to what I mentioned about him being able to do anything and just really being completely unhinged and unleashed within this particular season, I think that this points to them getting out all the story that they will have to tell and then finishing his story. I really believe that we are being set up to watch Gary die this season, and it's very interesting to watch. It's really giving me a different perspective when I look back at the previous episodes. It makes so much sense. I think that it's really great for the actor who plays Gary Borders, who is Chido. He's really been able to expand and show more of his acting ability and some of the things that he's been asked to do for the Gary character in this season, which again, just for me, reiterates that. Now, in speaking to like telling all the story that there is to tell about Gary, while we got to see this season him go to different levels and maybe unearth a little bit more maniacal menacing, I do think that there is a cap to all of that. It gets to the point where there's going to be certain things that you do that you cannot top in the audience's mind. And I think that we're seeing a lot of those things play out in the season. Again, that to me is what's giving me the sign that they're going to actually kill Gary off. He's not going to make it to trial. He's not going to actually go to jail. He's going to die in this season, and that's going to be it. Now, aside from those little things that are pushing me to believe this, I also think that Gary dying is the only plausible thing that will actually bring Andi peace, that will actually put like a finite end to the Gary and Andi saga. Because if he was to just go to jail after, to stand in trial and be put in jail, I think that Gary is a man of means, a man of like connection when it comes to the criminal element, that he could literally menace Andi from prison. And I don't necessarily think that that's a story that is true. Don't want to say true to Sistas. I mean, maybe. I think that there is a story to tell about a woman dating a man in jail, but Andi should not be dating Gary, and we have known that since season 1. So aside from even all of that I just mentioned, it is time. It is time for Andi to completely sabotage, also to sabotage from Jordan, but that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. It is time for the audience to be released from this, and maybe it's time for Chido to move on. Even though I do think that if he is killed off, as I'm predicting, he will come back as a ghost and he will probably haunt Andi for another season. Diabolical work, y'all. Diabolical work. Okay, so I made a couple points in reference to why I believe he will die this season. Another point that I do have in just trying to flesh out my thoughts and solidify this prediction is we've seen pretty much all of the main male characters make their exit. Now, Aaron has exited and returned, and I think that that's a very good reason, and he was a very good choice to do so if they had to choose any of the men to do so. But Gary was kind of like the last man standing, and I'm not including Hayden because Hayden wasn't dating one of the main sisters. He was one of the last men standing, and I do believe that the current men that we have are going to be here for a while, and then we're also going to be introduced to new men in season 8. So it's also just time for Gary to move on. But they probably didn't want to give Gary the so-so farewell that they gave Calvin and that they gave Preston, where they kind of just rode off into the sunset with their white women, and never to be heard from again. They had to do something bigger for a character as pivotal, as menacing, as diabolical, as impactful as the Gary Borders character has been to the Sistas series. So that's another reason why I believe that he will actually be killed off this season. Now, my question for y'all is, are y'all going to be mad if Gary gets killed off? Or are you going to be happy if Gary gets killed off? I struggle with rejoicing about killing, period. But it is also given that Gary has earned it. Gary has laid hand on way too many black women. When he tossed Jasmine's ass off the top of that parking garage, I was done. I said, you literally yeeted a woman, honey. You yeeted her ass off the top of this parking garage. Yes, you squeezed Andi to when she was unconscious. Apparently, you killed your high school love. Sir, it must stop. And if that means we got to put 2 up in you, if that means we got to smother your ass after some amazing sex, Tamara, the ball's in your court, baby. You need an alley-oop. If that means we need to drop something in your drink because you an alcoholic and you just need to fade off into sleep, Aunt Andi, I think you can handle that. If that means we need to let Fatima let out all her aggressions, grab her bat and go to work, things need to be done when they need to be done. So I guess I actually am in the camp rooting for Gary to die. Sorry, sir, you gotta go. You've been too much of a menace to black women, and I love me some black women. All right, so that is my thoughts. That is my predictions. Nobody is really talking about this yet. Again, I pulled this from me just assessing the entire season, me really just reflecting on how I feel about the season, and me leaning into my writer's brain and what I can kind of like see coming based off of some of the things that have been done this season thus far. I hope that this explanation in reference to the prediction makes sense. If you have any questions about it, if you have any additional points to make because you feel like I might have missed one, then let me know all of that in the comment section down below. Drop your thoughts, drop your theories, drop your predictions. You can also share privately or publicly within our Discord server. I do have my Discord linked in the description box down below. That is where we continue to have conversations about all of the shows that I'm covering and keep the conversations going 24/7, honey. So you always got a person, you always got a friend, you always got somebody to kiki with about your favorite show. And if it's sisters, we got you because it's a whole sister champ. I'm your good sis you love to talk TV with. If you haven't hit that subscribe button just yet, then now is the time to do so. And I think that you will really love this video next. So check it out.